Hey, welcome to the Eli Show. How's everybody doing? Okay, and so let me get to it. Today's topic is what is wrong with being average? Let me ask that question again. What is wrong with being average? Think about the question for a minute, okay? Think about what was just asked. What is wrong with being average? Now, why do I ask that question? Why do I ask that question? Well, the problem today is we have women who do not want to date average men. And the question is why is that? Okay? What is wrong with being average? Folks, what you got to understand is not everybody is going to be rich and famous. Not everybody is going to be extraordinary. Not everyone can win the trophy. Okay? Not everyone's going to be famous. Not everyone's going to win the Olympic medal. Not everyone's going to be celebrities. Why do I say that? It's because of the fact that women today tend not to want to date average guys. Okay, ladies, not everyone can be extraordinary. If that was the case, what's the whole point of having extraordinary? How would you be able to tell the difference between the President of the United States versus a regular citizen? You see my point? Do you see my point? Not everybody's extraordinary. Because if you're extraordinary and the person across the street is extraordinary, then who's average? A king has to be distinguished the difference between a king and an ordinary person, right? We all cannot be kings. We all cannot be queens. There has to be a distinguisher. You have to be able to distinguish the difference. For an example, if I went to London, the United Kingdom, the UK, right? How would I know the difference between the king and queen and the prince versus average ordinary people? You see my point? Not everyone can be celebrities. And the problem with women today is they're very delusional. They're very delusional because when you try to get them to date an average person, they turn their nose up to that because they turn their nose up to that because they think they can get somebody better. But the problem is you're average. You're an average woman. You're average. And this ideal that you can get somebody better than average? No. So today I'm asking the question, what is wrong with being average? Not everybody can be kings. Not everybody can be queens. Some people are just average. If I went to London today or the UK, I will know the difference between the king and the queen versus average people. But see, the problem with women is they think the rules don't apply to them. They think they're different. And this is why dating has become so difficult for a lot of men. And this is why a lot of men have stopped dating. Dating has become difficult because women have this celebrity thought process that everyone gets a trophy. Everybody is going to be rich. Everybody's going to get that certain husband. But that's not the case. And this is where the delusion comes in, because let me ask you ladies a question. How would I be able to tell the difference between extraordinary and average? How would I be able to tell the difference to that? How would I be able to tell the difference between extraordinary and average? What is extraordinary and what is average? Because you see, if we're all extraordinary, then who's average? Right? Just like if we were all kings and queens, then who is our servants? Who are servants? Who are the normal day-to-day people? See, the problem with women today is women don't have a certain concept of what is average and what is not average, what is real and what is not real. Let me give you an example. Tell me if you came across this. You're dating a woman and she tells you in order for you to date her, you have to be a six-figure man. A six-figure man. Now pause right there. Ladies, I want you to understand something why this is so dumb. This is so dumb. And then you wonder why you're single and you can't find a man. Okay? So you want to marry a person that's a six-figure income. Pause right there. Ask yourself this question. Just be honest too. Ask yourself this question. How many six-figure men do you know in your lifetime? Six-figure men. How many six-figure men do you know in your lifetime? You see, ladies, you got to be more realistic. But the problem with dating, you ladies, is that you're so unrealistic. You do the same thing in real estate as well. In real estate, whenever the real estate agent or the real estate realtor agent asks you what kind of home you want to buy, you ladies always go to the extremities. You'll say stupid stuff like, "Oh, I want to buy a house with 6 rooms and 2 baths." But the problem is the average person cannot afford that. I remember as a real estate agent, I remember women, every time I try to sell a house to a woman, the reason why it was so hard to sell a house to a woman, because I would ask her, "Okay, so you're working as a nurse, making an average income," because that's what nurses make. Nurses make average income. "So what kind of house would you like to buy?" And they always come up with this extremity garbage. They always talk about how they want a 6-figure home, a 6-bedroom house that can fit up to 16 people. Silly stuff like that. And I would look at them, and as a real estate agent, I would look at them and I would say to them, "Now look, you know and I know you're not going to be able to afford this house. Let's just be honest. You work at a hospital and you're a nurse. Nurses don't make 6 figures. You see what I'm saying? You're not being realistic with yourself. You're being unrealistic. You do the same thing when you're dating guys. I've already told you stories how women will allow guys to take them out on dates knowing full well they're not sexually attracted to them. And the guy would pay on the date and not get so much as a kiss or anything intimate, right? But women do the same thing when it comes to picking men. They'll say things like, "Well, I'll only date a man that makes 6 figures. Ladies, how many men do you know that make 6 figures? What percentage of men that you know make 6 figures? If I got on here, right? If I got on here and let's say you asked me, let's say you said, Eli, what kind of woman would you like to date?" And I sat up here and I told you, "Well, I would like to date a woman that's making 6 figures." Most of you would clown me for saying that, right? Most of you would get on here and make fun of me for saying that, right? And rightfully so. I deserve to be clowned if I'm stupid enough to get on here and pull a stunt like that, right? Well, my question to you guys is, why aren't you clowning women when they do the same thing? You see, if a woman tells you she only wants to date a guy that's making 6 figures, ask her this. What percentage of men out there make that kind of money? And then just sit back and look at the kind of response you're getting. And if she tells you, well, almost every guy makes that kind of, you stop her right there and be like, nope, give her the facts. The facts is less than 10% of the men are making that kind of money. You understand me? So if she cannot answer that question, you're dealing with a clown. Because I'm what I'm tired of is I'm tired of average women clowning on average guys. Like you'll ask a girl, "Hey, would you ever date this guy?" And she'll be like, "No, he's too short. No, he's too nice. No, he doesn't make a money. No, he doesn't make enough money." Da 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 da. Stop her right there and say, "Okay, so what makes you believe that you are beyond average, that you can do better than him?" And ask her, "What is the average income for a man who's average today?" And see what kind of response she gets. Because it's about time we start questioning you ladies who are average, who are disrespecting average men on a day-to-day basis. I got on here and I heard this one woman by the name of Basically, Jennifer just clowned this one guy. She just clowned this one guy because this one guy was a construction worker making minimum wage. And Jennifer, that is so stupid, Jennifer. Let me just say this right now. That is so stupid because the average man in this country makes about 42 to 52, sometimes $62,000 a year. And the way you treated that construction worker as if you can do better, seriously, there's a difference between average and non-average. And guys, when we talk about average and non-average, let me just make something clear. We are not talking about celebrities. We are not talking about celebrities. We are not talking about athletes. Because I notice, the reason why I say that is because I notice when women want to talk about high value men, they always rush to athletes and celebrities. I got into an argument with this lady on Facebook. We were on Facebook, and I got into an argument with her. Why did I get into an argument with her? Well, because the conversation about what kind of man she wants to date came up, and I asked her, so what kind of man would you like to date? And she goes, I want to date a six-figure man. And I said to her while we were live on Facebook, I said to her, why do you feel like you can date a six-figure man? And she said, well, because athletes do it. And I'm shaking my head and I'm like, ma'am, do you know the difference between an athlete and a non-athlete? Do you know the difference between a celebrity and a non-celebrity? And then I asked her while we were on Facebook, I asked her, in your lifetime, have you ever dated an athlete? And I'm not talking about a high school person or somebody in college. I'm talking about a professional athlete. And she said no. And I said, that's what I'm talking about. She said no. And that's what I'm talking about. Women, why is it that every time we ask you questions about six figures and stuff like that, why is it always turned into professional athletes? In your lifetime, you have never dated an athlete. You've dated average people. And I see this a lot in the black community. Whenever you ask them, why do you want to date a six-figure man? They always point up to celebrities and athletes. Your black butt lives in the hood. You have never ran across no athlete. So we need to start having a conversation about what is real and what is not. Ladies, there's a difference between a king and an average people. How do you know there's a difference between a king? Well, like I said, when you go to London or Queensland or the UK, you have the king and queen, and then you have average people. Not everybody's going to be kings and queens. Because if that was the case, then there would not be average people. So when you're dating a man, quit saying stupid stuff like you want a six-figure man, you want a man that's 6 foot tall, and stop that. There's a difference between average and non-average. Your typical celebrity, your typical politician, your typical athlete, these are non-average people. You cannot say that you expect every man that you date to be like them. That's not realistic. Okay? Another thing, too, is there is this thing going around called anorexia. Okay? It's basically when a woman starves herself to death. She starves herself to death. She's anorexic, okay? She's starving herself to death. Okay, my question to you is, why are women starving themselves to death? Why are there anorexic women today? Okay? Ladies, the reason why you are starving yourself and you're trying to become anorexic is because you don't realize that the media has lied to you. Social media has lied to you. The media has lied to you. Let me tell you ladies something. Not every woman is going to be skinny. Just like not every woman's going to be fat. Not every woman's going to be rich. Not every woman's going to be poor. Here's the thing. What you see on social media is just not real. Let me say that again. What you see on social media is just not real. You realize there's a lot of imposters. There's a lot of imposters on social media, right? You know that, right? And the reason why I talk about this is because when talking to women and getting to the heart of things, they always try to mimic what they see on social media. Like I was talking to this one girl on Facebook. And she was telling me how she only wants to date guys that want to travel. Okay? And I stopped her right there. I asked her a question. I go, how many guys in this world have enough money to travel? Think about it. How many guys in this world that you know of today, that have the money to travel? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Because you ladies are so delusional, so let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Let's talk about traveling. To travel from Arizona to Africa, how much money does that cost? You're looking at least $3,000, right? $3,000 for one person. So when you're in the dating market, and you tell guys you're looking for a person to travel with, do you realize most guys are going to look at you like you're stupid? They're going to look at you like you're stupid because most guys do not have that kind of money to travel. And these women, they always do that. Whenever you talk about dating them or asking them out on a date, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is they want a man that they can travel with. And I'm sitting here looking at that like, ladies, you're stupid. First of all, you're an average woman. You're not a celebrity. You're not a famous person. You're not making millions. You're not the president of the United States. You're an average woman. You are not going to be able to just travel like that. To travel, let's say a guy like me wants to travel from here to Mexico. Okay, that kind of money, we're looking at least $2,000. $2,000. And you want to travel from here to Africa, that's about another $4,000. Traveling is expensive. So whenever I'm on these dating websites and whenever I hear women say they want to date a man that travels, I'm shaking my head like, no, you did not just go there. Especially when you're an average woman. You're an average woman. And then I was talking to this other girl on Facebook. She was saying stupid things like she wants to date a man that can buy her a house and live in California. Now pause right there. Let me tell you how stupid that sounds. Do you know how expensive it is in California? Seriously. Do you know how expensive it is in California? For a one-bedroom apartment in California, you're looking at $1,500 just for a one-bedroom apartment in California. $1,500. Sometimes, depending on what part of California, it could be more expensive, like $1,800 for a one-bedroom apartment. I've seen some for $1,800, about $1,800 for a one-bedroom apartment in California. And this woman got on Facebook and tried to say that she wants to date a man that can buy her house. Now I want to put the numbers to you guys. Do you know how expensive a house is? If you were to buy a house off the real estate market right now in California, so we're looking at, let me give you the stats. I got the stats right here. For a house, a 6-bedroom house, you're looking at almost $3 million for a house. See, these are average women trying to date beyond average guys, which doesn't make sense. You're an average woman. There's a difference between a celebrity and a non-celebrity. There's a difference between an athlete making money versus an athlete that's in high school. There's a difference between having the right looks to date a guy like that. First and second of all, ladies, let me just make something clear to you. Second of all, ladies, a guy like that, the guy that's in the top 10%, because I want to tell you ladies something, because for some reason, every woman wants to date a guy in the top 10%. Makes no sense, but let's put the numbers to it. A guy like that, he's going to have options. If he's in the top 10%, let's say he's a bachelor, handsome guy. Let's say he's 6'6", dark and handsome, and he's a bachelor, and he's making 6 figures, right? A guy like that would not pick you because you are an average woman, and you're not going to be on what the guy's looking for. See, the problem is that a lot of women today, they want traditional marriages, but you guys are not traditional women. You want a traditional man, but you're not traditional women. And so now you want to try to get out here in the dating market and try to get you a guy that's a high figure earner. And it doesn't work like that. You're not a traditional woman. You were not raised that way. You were not brought up that way. You're average. You're average like everyone else. If we had 100 men lined up against the wall, how many of those hundreds of men would be athletes, superstars, millionaires? Not that many. Maybe 4 of them, right? 4 of them, right? So that means the other 97, 98% of those men are just going to be average men. But see, women today just look down on average guys. I had this one girl on Facebook. She was like, well, I won't date a man that lives in a 1-bedroom house. I'm like, what? You're average. You're average. You're average. And this, the problem with women today is that they think they're different. Like they're the extraordinary. They're the exception to the rules. No, you're not. No, you are not. And ladies, let me just say this. Why is it that when a man asks you what kind of career you want to get into, you always try to get the corporate side of the career. What's up with that? It's like you women don't want to be submissive to a man. You don't want to be submissive to a man, so you want to get a corporate job, thinking that you're going to be a corporate figure. I knew this one girl. She argued with me on Facebook because I told her, what career do you want to get into so you can get the kind of man you want to date? And she was all like, well, I'm going to get into real estate and starting my business. I said, hold on. Do you understand that the real estate market is hard to get into? Okay. Real estate. You have to have $10,000 just to get into real estate. But these ladies, they get on here saying stuff like, well, I'm going to get a real estate license. I'm like, yeah, you're going to get a real estate license for what? You need $10,000 just to start a real estate thing. And then you get some women out here, they will tell you, well, I'm going to become a PhD and a master degree and nursing and medical assistant and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, but you're not going to be making a whole lot of money. You're still going to be on average. You're going to be what the average person is. And there's an exception to the rules. Because what ladies, what you need to understand is men pick on looks. They pick on looks, not on your money, not on your value, not on your college degree, not on your career. They pick you by your looks. This is why you could be a poor woman working at McDonald's and date a high value man, and then you could be an ugly woman with a college degree calling yourself a PhD and not get a man at all. Because men are very visual. Your looks don't matter. Your college degree don't matter. Your career don't matter. Your looks matter. Your looks matter, and then from there, after your looks, your character starts to matter. And then after your character, your personality starts to matter. But looks first, because guys are visual like that. Guys care more about looks, not college degrees, not college careers. A man don't care about your career. And see, the reason why I came on here, because every time I'm on Facebook talking to these girls about dating, they always try to come up with these six-figure men that they have never met before, men who don't find any interest in them, men that are in the top 5%, 10% of men out there. These guys that are in the top 5, 10% of men out there, they're not going to just walk up to an average girl like that just because she feels like her career is on peak level. Like, no, guys are visual. They don't care about your career. They don't care about your degree. They're visual. And I'm tired of women acting like they're beyond average men like this. Like, ladies, you're average. You're not the exception to the rules. There's nothing extraordinary different about you. There's nothing extraordinary special about you. I see this a lot, especially in the black community. Especially when you're talking to black women. It's like they want to get the highest level guy, like the highest tier level guys. And I'm like, no, you're from the hood. You're from the hood. What makes you think that you're not going to date a guy that's in the hood? What makes you think that you're an exceptional person, that you're some rich guy that's in the top 5%, 10% of men out there is just going to come up to you in the hood while you're in the hood? Stop it. You're not a traditional woman, so you're not going to get traditional outcomes. You were not brought up to be a traditional woman. You're from the hood, so you're going to get hood-like outcomes. I'm just so tired of women dissing on average men, like there's something wrong with you because you're an average man. I had some girls on Facebook who were telling me that They don't want to date men who are construction workers. They don't want to date men who are engineers. They don't want to date men who are working in the sewers. And I asked them why. And they're like, oh, because these men don't make enough money. I'm like, yeah, they're average like you, though. You black chicks, you live in the hood. You're not going to be able to get that top 5%, top 10% of men out there. Those guys who are in the top 5%, top 10% of men out there, they don't necessarily go for chicks in the hood. They don't necessarily do that. You were not brought up that way. You were not raised in a traditional way. You're not a traditional wife. You're not a traditional woman. So what makes you think you're going to get a traditional outcome? That just does not make sense. And another thing too, ladies, especially black ladies, you need to quit trying to compare yourself to social media and famous people and celebrities and athletes. You need to stop that. Those people are the exception to the rules because there's a difference between average and non-average. If you're an average woman, you're going to get an average outcome. Like, let me give you an example. Remember what I said earlier. Guys are visual, right? Guys don't care about your money. They don't care about your college degree. They care about your looks. So let's start off with that. First, let's talk about your height. Okay? Most guys look at height because then what follows after that? Your weight. The problem with a lot of women today is that a lot of you women weigh more than guys do today. A lot of you girls are fatter than what most guys are today. You weigh more. You weigh more than what most guys weigh today. And then let's go on looks, okay? Now, let's take the cutest person on the planet, the sexiest person on the planet. Let's start off with Rihanna. Okay, Rihanna, she's about a 9 or 10. She's really sexy. Okay, Kelly Rowland, she's about a 10, 9 or 10. She's sexy. Jennifer Lopez, she's about a 9. Jennifer Lopez, she's about a 9. Kelly Rowland, she's about a 9. Okay? And here's the point that I'm trying to make. Not every girl that you run into is going to be 9s and 10s. And the reason why I'm telling you ladies that is because whenever men ask you to rate yourself, whenever they ask you to rate yourself, you always try to rate yourself a 10, and you're not a 10. You're about a 5. You're average, right? You're like average and a half, if that. A lot of you girls are 5s, and you're calling yourselves 10s. Makes no sense. You're not a 10. So here's the thing, ladies. Chances are, if you're average, the guy that you should be dating is going to be average. Okay? Stop this 6-figure income man stuff. Those guys are in the 5-10% of men out there. Okay? You ladies got to stop that stuff. Quit dissing on average men, okay? You're an average woman. You need to get with an average man. Hi, my name is Eli. If you like my YouTube channel, make sure you hit the like button and make sure you hit the subscribe button. I also want to thank my supporters. Thank you for supporting my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the like button and make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thank you.